We can have a little talk about the Canucks because it seems like it's a weekly
Oh
news
boy.
with them.
Oh boy.
Never changes with them.
No, they are just they're not enjoying hockey right now. Let's just put it that way.
They're a dumpster fire so far.
Oh yeah.
They're pretty much even with Seattle. They got 16 points, 1 point off from Seattle, and they are 5 points out from the sixth place team, Los Angeles Kings, 21 points, and their differentials atrocious at minus 21.
Yeah.
Um,
Oof.
it's not one of the worst, surprisingly. Arizona's got minus 37.
Yeah,
Montreal's the next one after.
they're a whole other story, but like I mean Vancouver 2-8 in their last 10. Last night they were playing Montreal, lost again. I mean that was probably one of their best chances to win in
Yeah,
recent in recent times. Um yeah, it's kind of like becoming one of those things. I know like Canucks fans right now are just like they're not having a good time, and a lot of them are kind of wondering this like when is the next win coming? When are they going to turn around? Because again, I mean, we've discussed this like last time too. Like coming into the season, I don't think anyone could have predicted this about them.
not being this much of a dumpster fire. No,
No,
in every single division you could say the same thing for one team.
it's very true, and it's like that every year. There's always a team that's like, why aren't
Surprises
they
you.
doing this good, or why are these guys doing better than they should be doing?
One
But
guy we did well, sorry, not one guy. One team we did talk about recently was the Islanders, and you
yeah,
said to wait for the home stretch. They played four now, and they've
oh
lost
boy,
four. So they are actually in the crapper.
yeah. I mean that one there, that one's the biggest surprise to me.
Islanders, the Sens, Chicago Blackhawks, and Vancouver for every single division. I think those guys, those teams, are the ones that surprised most people
Yeah,
because we all
and
thought Ottawa was going to bounce back from last year. They had a
yeah.
good end of the year, but now they're
Although they've had the COVID issues, which like
oh
they've been
yeah.
playing like an AHL team. They've basically been playing their AHL team for like most of the season. So
Well,
I think for
expectations
them,
is what I'm saying. Is what
oh
people
yeah,
thought
fine.
going into the season. They didn't think that Ottawa was going to be eighth and Buffalo was going to be sixth. They thought Buffalo was going to be eighth.
Yes,
No one thought the
yeah,
Montreal
that's fair.
Canadiens would be seventh. I know that because after a playoff run, yes, you lose Carey Price and Shea Weber, but you at least think that they would be a middling team, maybe
Hmm.
behind Boston, But
Yeah, I exactly.
so that's yeah. Chicago also with Seth Jones and those acquisitions. Jonathan Tay's coming in.
Yeah, although that one there, the Chicago one, I still wasn't buying it. I
Well,
mean,
that's the
I
thing with
figured they're.
Vancouver. People weren't buying it either with Oliver
That's it.
Ekman-Larsson.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair. Whereas
These
I was
teams
one of the
all got
people who was like,
acquisitions.
amazing. Yeah,
The
it's
Islanders
true.
got Parise. I mean, that's not
Yeah,
as big as Seth Jones or
I mean,
Ekman
the Islanders
Larson.
are just getting older. Like you even
Yeah,
had Chara in there too. Like they're just making their team slower, which I understand that's their style of play, but like you can only do that for so long before teams finally figure you out and be like, okay, this is how we beat them.
it is not going well for them at all.
Hmm.
Um, what is their stats here?
And
Goaltending
actually,
wise, they're still good though.
yeah. And actually, just going back to like Vancouver, how like we just started this whole point with them, like like looking at JT Miller's quote after last week's loss, where he's not entirely sure if everyone's buying into the team and just if everyone's actually committing themselves to this team. Which when a player's saying that, and I think I want to say he's an assistant captain on that team.
I'm
So
not sure.
when you got a leader, or at least he's a leader, he's one of the older guys on that team. I think he is. But like, yeah, when you have a guy like that speaking out in a press conference saying like that not everyone if he that he's not sure if everyone's buying in, then there's some serious issues. Like I don't know if this has happened yet, but maybe they need to have like a players only meeting. I know the Leafs did that. I think it was 2 years ago. They had a players only meeting, and after that, you kind of see results are like
Start
start
showing up.
showing up, and like It's just the way they play on the ice. It's different because like these guys, like they go think about it, they're going through everything together, right? They're on the road all the time. You're always spending time with these guys. You're playing for them. Like that's the thing. You need to play as a team. If you're playing for yourself, then there's an issue there and nothing's gonna get done.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe that's all it is. Maybe they need to have a closed door players only meeting. But if they already did do that, then yeah, maybe
Yikes.
something else has got to change. Like Jim Benning may have to go. Travis Green may have to go
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people are wondering why did the Habs fire their general manager before the Vancouver Canucks?
because the Habs are smart.
Yes, that's right. You're right. You're absolutely right at that. And I think they're a little bit more fragmented than the Habs are. Like they
Hmm.
have two owners who are split supposedly. One owner,
Yeah.
they're both brothers, but they both have a different mindset from each other, a complete opposite, polar opposites
Hmm.
entirely.
Yeah.
One wants to rebuild and one wants to try to keep pushing. And Jim Benning's probably flipping the coin to figure out, well, which one are we going with for every single
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. Exactly. Like he can't even do anything because the owners aren't telling him what to do. So it's almost hard to blame him. But I didn't actually know that about the ownership thing. So that makes it a lot more interesting now to me.
The ownership is very tough there in Vancouver, and hopefully in Montreal, having those two heads might not. Hopefully, though, that works out better than how
Hmm.
it's been working out in Vancouver. That's a three-headed monster there.
Yeah.
So
Yikes.
hopefully, a two-headed monster here works out, and they have a good chemistry together. But Vancouver, one of the worst teams in the league. Who knows what's going
Yeah.
to happen? JT Miller has been going around as trade rumors. My dogs are agreeing with me. Um, JT Miller has been seen in rumors for Toronto, New York, Minnesota, coming from last week. They're just on the rumor mill, and it's sad to see because they should have been good. They should have been better than what they are this year.
Hmm.
No one's showing up to
Oh
what
yeah.
they thought that they would.
I will just say this quick point about the Leafs being involved in JT Miller. That's the kind of player the Leafs need to add to their lineup. So, and
Would
I'm sorry for trying to make this all about the Leafs, but I just want to add that.
it would be a guy that they would need. Although there would be salary retention for sure. Um, I wouldn't see that happening unless the Leafs are willing to get rid of a first, or at least Robertson in a third or something like that.
Yeah, see, like Robertson now to me is becoming a guy that he maybe becomes more expendable as the days go on because he's yet to really crack the lineup full time in the NHL.
That's not
And
his
he's
fault though. It's
no, it isn't.
injuries.
He's yeah, injuries are a big thing and they're unfortunate. But I mean, again, if this guy's gonna keep being hurt, like how much longer are you gonna wait before it's like, well, the interest is gonna run out on him, his value's gonna run low, and we won't be able to get back what we once thought we could have.
Absolutely.
So it's just one of those things where I'm saying like, obviously Dubas has a tough job to, and I'm making it about the Leafs. I'm gonna stop there.
It's is it well it would be worth it for him for Dubas to go after this guy. Although imagine how much they paid for Nick Foligno. How much?
Yeah, don't. Yeah, it was a first round pick, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, I
So
know.
if he was a
I
first round pick and they retained his salary for 1 year, imagine if they had to retain a guy's salary until 2023.
Yeah, that I know.
So that's a
That's
2 year. That's 2 years that they would have to retain, and I'm sure
yeah,
they would want maybe half of that retained.
yeah. You're definitely no. You're right. You're definitely looking at like a first, maybe even a second, maybe even a
A
future first.
first
Like
and maybe Robertson, or
yeah,
maybe
and
or a
maybe
conditional
more on top
first.
of that. Like that's what I mean, man. Like that's gonna be a lot for the Leafs to pull off that trade, but I don't know. I mean, the Leafs are playing well right now. I don't think we need a JT Miller at the moment. It would be nice to have him, but I don't think he's a need.
Teams are wary nowadays. They're not really, especially with COVID and the cap potentially not going up. They're not really looking to add more cap, even if JT Miller's
Hmm.
a good player. Uh, these draft picks, these players, even for strong teams that are competing. At a whim, it could change. Another day, maybe we'll be at a bad position, or they just don't have that money simply to acquire them. Like Toronto, maybe they don't have the assets. How many times? How many times are going to trade first round picks? Like they.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, man. I don't want them to keep trading first round picks, and like I don't want them to just mortgage the future. Like I understand the time is now to win, but like eventually, like if these guys aren't getting it done, then you need to have some sort of futures to fall back on and be like, okay, we can rebuild and be competitive again in a few years.
It'd be different if
By like,
Foligno was signed for 5 years and they cut his salary in half or something. Then yeah,
yeah,
let's
well,
take it.
then the price would have been higher as
Yeah,
well, and I don't know. I mean,
they
yeah,
need they need to do that type of move. That's what I think Toronto needs. They need to find a player who's making a little bit. I mean, Evander Kane could be a good fit, and I think we should talk about Evander Kane and Matt Murray
mhm,
with this because it sort of
yeah.
has to do with players who aren't or people who are struggling. Um, Evander Kane sent down to the AHL. Um, they're still willing to trade him because everyone knows he still is a very capable hockey player. It's just
Hmm.
his mind isn't mature to an extent. He can play the game. He's just not business wise, not responsible with his money. He he needs to prove himself, and
Hmm.
uh, if we could find out where is he from? Where is he from? Where would he want to be?
He is from out west. I do know
Is
that.
he a mini Minnesota guy?
He would you believe it or not, he is from Vancouver, BC.
Oh no.
Because I was gonna say I do know the Canucks do have an interest in him.
He I don't know. I don't know if I would want to if San Jose was willing to say if I did um how well is San Jose doing here? They
Man, they're coming
are
back down to earth.
they are
They're like they're back to 500. Yeah.
after a few losses here and there, but if you got the offer, JT Miller for San Jose's first and Evander Kane and maybe like a second.
I would
Evander
take it just for the
yeah.
draft picks, to be honest.
You think the San Jose Sharks draft pick will? What if JT Miller makes it? That's the thing. I don't know if San Jose would even want to do.
No, they don't
No,
want JT Miller either.
no,
So that's why it's not an actual thing, but I mean hypothetically, yeah, if that was being offered to me and I'm Vancouver, I'm taking it just for the first and second alone.
absolutely. Okay, Vancouver. It's possible you could see Vander Kane there if they retain half of that cap. I'm sure they.
Well, I think that's the thing. The only way a move for him to Vancouver would happen is if San Jose terminates the contract.
No, it's gonna be retained. They're gonna be training it, and it's gonna be
No,
retained.
no, no. They can terminate the contract. Because
Okay.
now that he's cleared waivers, if he because I'm reading this article here, it says his return to game action is still uncertain.
I thought
So
he said. Well, his no. Well, I thought his agent said that he was going to report to the AHL. He will
yeah,
report to
no,
the
he
Barracudas.
will report, but still getting in a game is still something that sounds like it's far away. So I mean, they could also be doing this just to pique interest of other teams to see what they can do. But honestly, I think that they were gonna that they can terminate the contract, and then I think I don't know how it will work.
The agent in question is Dan Milstein. Apparently, he has multiple options, and he made multiple phone calls, one of which being to Vancouver. That was tweeted yesterday.
Hmm.
So I think it's gonna take us some time. And Evander Kane, I'm sure he's not gonna be very expensive. We're gonna be looking at like a Taylor Hall situation.
Yeah, if it's a trade, you're not getting. I mean, I'd say it's even less than a Taylor Hall
Oh
situation.
yeah,
Like
a two
you're
thirds
not getting a
maybe.
second. You're not getting a player. You're not getting that kind of thing. You're probably getting a draft pick in there. You're probably still getting some player, but like it's nothing. It's not going to be anything flashy.
Could be a fourth or a third and a future considerations.
Yeah,
I could see that
exactly. Like
happening.
it won't be much.
No.
Um, Yeah, again, that's if it is a trade that happens. I still think it's going to be a contract termination that ends up allowing him to be freed.
That would be the best, and I'm sure he would probably sign for even less than $3 million. He probably
Oh, he'll
sign at like
sign
two
for
and a
league
half,
minimum.
or
Or
leave.
yeah, even that. 1 mil, like
Yeah,
it's not going to be a big contract at that point
you're right. million
because teams are
dollars.
going to be like you got to prove yourself again. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And he'll have a better chance with the clear conscience and clear bank account, whatever you want to call it, a clear contract
Exactly. Yeah.
field. Next up, the Matt Murray. He also cleared waivers. A lot of guys clearing waivers nowadays.
Hmm.
Um, he is a sort of a surprise if you were following it from the beginning. Um, Matt Murray was looked at as the saving grace for the Ottawa Senators. Hopefully be the number one guy for the Ottawa Sens, but they never turn out to be because
Nope.
that's the Senators for you. They don't do
Well,
well.
I mean, that's also, I think a lot of, I know one of my friends who's a Pittsburgh fan, he, like, when Matt Murray was a Penguin and they won those back-to-back cups, I remember he would even tell me, he's like, I don't like Matt Murray. Like,
Wow.
he was like, he's good. Like, I'm happy that he won us those cups, but he's like, going forward, I don't want him to be our goalie because he's like, I guess just from what he sees from this guy in game, he's like, it didn't make him confident. And, I see those things too now. Like, watching a
Yep.
lot of him on Ottawa and even when he was on Pittsburgh, like, he did have shaky moments and, like, his glove hand isn't really the best.
No,
So,
easy to beat, and he definitely needs this time in the AHL to rekindle his game.
mhm.
Hopefully it happens. There's really nowhere else he can go. That contract is pretty atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of locked into it because he still signed it recently. It's only the second year of that deal.
I think it was only like a 5 year deal though,
It
five
is,
or
but
4 year
I
deal,
mean,
and then the
5 isn't, it's not short.
five for 6.25, and
Yep.
the last 2 years $7 million, and the last year's $8 million.
Oh, right. That's how much is actually getting paid to him
Yes.
in real money. But the cap hit is 6.25 per year.
Okay. Okay.
And it's only a 4 year deal, which isn't that bad,
No,
but also does have a modified no trade clause, which isn't a big deal. It's just 10 teams you can't get traded to.
I'm sure Pittsburgh's one of them. He's an interesting guy, and I wish him all the best. Hope him all the best. I wish him all the best. I'm sure he's also going through his demons right now because like
Mhm.
you won two Stanley Cups back to back, and now you're this middling goaltender on a very crappy team. So nothing is really going his way, and it hasn't been ever since he got to the Ottawa Senators.
Mhm.
So it's scary. It's scary to see. I
Yeah,
guess
it's
they just need the
unfortunate.
Hamburglar. They just need Andrew Hammond.
Yeah, maybe, man. Is he still around? Where is
No,
he
I think
now?
he's gone. He's out of here.
No. He's got to be in the league though.
Uh, Andrew Hammond.
He's with Minnesota.
Okay, good, good.
There he is. He's still in the league. Is he playing? No, he's on the Iowa Wild. He's in the AHL.
He's getting
Yeah,
paid.
214, 931. Not bad.
Not bad. No, this guy is great. It's like David Ayers, but even more legendary than him.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry. I'm
You just
sorry. It's
had to
David.
bring him. No, but you're right. He is more legendary because he got the hamburgers. I remember when they would throw him on the ice in Ottawa, and then Curtis Lazar picked one up and ate it.
Yeah, he ate the thing. Yeah,
Better,
that was
hey,
legendary.
better to have burgers thrown on the ice than waffles. Trust me.
Then the Habs won against them that year. I think in the playoffs because they
Yes,
yes. PK
that's
Subban
right.
slashed some guy's legs. I forgot who it was. Who was it? Maybe like Pajot or maybe Shabbat.
No, but
Anyways,
Shabbat wouldn't have been on the team at the time. It might have been Peugeot or someone like that. Yeah.